Hi everybody, welcome back to the Anatomy Show with Miss Tebow and
Miss Abby Samra.
And today we're talking about the skin. So this body system has some fancy names associated with it. It's called the Integumentary system, and your skin is also called epithelial tissue. So there's all these like big, super fancy names, but it's really your skin. So we're gonna talk about what your skin does for you. Here we go.
All right, so as of do now, if you have a magnifying glass, awesome. If not, just take a look at your skin. Try to look at it like super up close. Look at the different parts. Look at the skin on the front and back of your hands. Look at the skin on your arm. You can probably see some similarities. You can probably see some differences. So see what you see, and then describe to someone else what you're seeing, right? Maybe make a little sketch. Talk to mom or dad or any brothers or sisters and just tell them what you're seeing on your skin, right? So think about what your skin does for you and how looking at it super up close might give you kind of a hint as to how it does that.
All right, so your essential questions. What is the structure of the skin? So what's it made of? What are the different parts of your skin? And what are the jobs that it does for you? Because it does more than you think. Here's your key terms: epidermis, dermis, follicle, pore, melanin, and cancer.
So your skin is the largest organ in your body. Think about it. It covers your entire body, right? It is a vital component of your immune system, so keeping you healthy. It's a powerful eliminator of toxins, so it gets rid of all the bad stuff in your body. But we're going to look at what it's made of and how it does all of this stuff. It's super cool.
All right, so your skin has two main layers. You can think of it as like a little lasagna or something. So you have the epidermis, which is the outer layer. Epi means above, I think, and dermis is underneath the epidermis. So in the pictures here, we've got a little section of skin. We're going to look at a little more detail about what all those different parts are that are in that. So your epidermis is made of tough protective layer of dead cells. There's no blood supply here. So that's why it doesn't hurt when you touch your skin. Your epidermis is constantly sloughing off. In fact, most dust, I think, what percentage of dust is made of
It's a large,
cells? It's
large
a lot.
percent, yeah.
And so that constant sloughing off of the dead skin cells makes it hard for microorganisms and bacteria and things that are harmful to stay on your skin. They kind of land on your skin, and then they're sitting on that dead skin, and the dead skin falls off, and they go, and they fall on the floor, so they don't stay on your body. Inside your epidermis is also melanocytes, or in your skin. These are pigment cells. So these are what produces melanin. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Melanin is what gives skin its color. It's also what gives your hair its color and your eyes their color. And the job of melanin is to protect from ultraviolet radiation. So epidermis has a lot of cool things going on. So here's some neat pictures of the epidermis. What's going on there? The one that looks like a little forest, those are hair. Those are hairs that are coming out of the hair follicles and all the dead skin that's around the scalp there. You can see in the one picture the sweat coming out of, it looks like the fingertips, and another one with skin up at the top.
So underneath the epidermis, we have the dermis, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on, right? So in our picture, our little picture of the skin here, only that very top layer is the epidermis. So everything else is part of the dermis, and you've got things like sweat glands, oil glands, you've got your hair follicles, so your hair actually starts off inside your skin.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. You've got your nerves and blood vessels down here, so if you cut yourself and it hurts and you start bleeding, you know you've made it past that epidermis and down into the dermis, because that's the only point where blood vessels actually start. You have a nice layer of fat underneath everything that's going to keep you warm. And then you have pores, so just little openings, places for things to get out of you, for you to get rid of waste, stuff like that, and sebaceous glands.
So the sebaceous glands secrete an oily lipid called sebum. This is what keeps your skin kind of smooth and soft, and it waterproofs your skin, and it kind of gets in the way of microorganisms growing. So again, it helps keep you healthy. but sometimes these sebaceous glands can get clogged. So if you don't wash your face, or if they get clogged with dirt or too much oil, this is how you can get acne or zits.
We also have hair coming out of our dermis, right? So hair is made out of keratin, which is a composite material, so it's made of a bunch of stuff. It's made out of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. So think way back when we did biochemistry. So what kind of macromolecule is made out of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur?
That's trans. That would be, it was carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. What do you think it is?
Protein!
So this is a protein. Your hair is made of protein. And if you take a look at that cool picture of the photomicrograph, you could see what your hair looks like under the microscope. So it's overlapping scales. Okay, so you are not, there are things that live on you and in you, and it's normal and natural, and everybody has them. So in your eyelashes and in your eyebrows, you have these little follicle mites. We all do. We all have them. And they're little arthropods that live in your hair follicles, and they eat your dead skin and the oil, and they're just kind of a normal part of your body. So it's kind of interesting to know that these things live in you.
And if it grosses you out, don't worry. They're not doing anything bad to you.
Yeah, they're not.
Fingernails and toenails. So your fingernails are actually made out of the same thing as your hair was, so that protein keratin. So it's basically just a little like woven fibrous plate kind of. So basically if you took a bunch of little hairs and wove them all together, you would end up with your fingernails.
And it's a lot tougher than your hair, of course.
Yeah.
So check this out. Did you know that, look at your skin. So think about 1 square inch. If you have a ruler, visualize what 1 square inch of skin is on your body. And think about this. 1 square inch of skin contains 19,500 sensory cells at the end of the nerve fibers. In 1 square inch, there's 65 hairs, 13 sensory apparatuses to detect cold, 78 to detect heat, 78 yards of nerves. Oh my gosh, how does that fit in 1 square inch? 160 to 165 pressure apparatuses for the perception of tactile stimuli. That just means like to detect your sense of touch and pressure. 19 to 20 yards of blood vessels, 1,300 nerve endings to record pain, 95 to 100 sebaceous glands, 650 sweat glands, and 9,500,000 cells in 1 square inch. That's hard to comprehend. That's so much stuff in there.
So, more fun facts. The skin covering the body of a newborn baby has an area of about 2,500 centimeters squared. But by the time the baby has grown up, it may cover 18,000 centimeters squared.
Wow.
That's a lot. About the size of a shower curtain. So if the baby grows up to be very tall or fat, it can be even more than that.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
The skin of an average woman weighs about 3 kilograms, and that of an average man, maybe 5 kilograms. So that's a good chunk of your body weight is just taken up by skin. And then the thickness of skin varies depending on the site of the body. So think about your eyelids are going to be super, super thin, right?
You can feel them, feel how thin they are.
Yeah, and then on the soles of your feet, you want really, really thick skin, right? So that you don't just cut yourself every time you step on something, right? So the soles of your feet, the palms of your hands, those are going to be a lot thicker.
Wow, that's so interesting. All right, so the main jobs of your skin does a lot of stuff. So here's the main jobs. It protects the body, so it's kind of like, I mean, look at that picture. If you didn't have your skin, all your nerve endings would be just out there, your muscles and all your, you need your skin to protect yourself. You need your skin to help you maintain temperature. So this is maintaining homeostasis. Your skin helps you get rid of wastes through your sweat. Your skin helps you gather information. So think about your sense of touch, and you're getting information about your environment through your skin. You can feel whether it's cold outside or whether it's warm. You could feel I can feel my elbow on the table right now. I can feel myself sitting in the chair. So you can feel what's going on in your body through your sense of touch. And then last, this is one that is not really obvious, but your skin produces vitamin D for you. And that's a really, really important thing to keep your bones healthy, and it does a lot of other important things for you as well.
So protection. The skin is the first line of defense for the body. So think about anything trying to get into your body, it's going to have to get through your skin first, right? It's just this barrier that's protecting your internal organs. If your skin wasn't there, bacteria, bugs, anything, right, would just have free access to everything inside your body. But you actually have things living on your skin that are good for you. So you have helpful bacteria, fungi, and they can actually help get rid of the bad stuff too.
So like we were saying, your skin helps you maintain homeostasis. It provides protection against extreme hot or cold. So when you get really cold, your body gets goosebumps. So you can see in the picture your hair standing on end and you have goosebumps. And that's sort of a throwback to when our mammalian ancestors, when they got cold, their hair follicles, there's a little muscle, I'll show you in class, but there's a little muscle that pulls on the hair. When you get cold, it contracts, and it makes the hair stand up. And if you have a lot of hair, that's going to keep you really warm. We don't have that much hair, so it doesn't really do much to keep us warm, but it's a vestigial structure, which we're going to talk about next year, that we still have. Our skin regulates our temperature, thermoregulation, using our blood vessels. So there's changes in our blood vessels when we get hot or cold, our sweat glands, and our muscles, like we were talking about. So this little picture, I don't know what language it is. Is that Korean, that language?
Looks it, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But take a look at these pictures and try to figure out which one is the skin that's hot and which one is the skin that's cold. So find the differences. So, can you find some differences here?
Well, it looks like that might be a little bit of sweat on the left one.
Oh yeah, that little drop of liquid, yep, coming out of the sweat gland.
Yep. The hair on the right side one is standing much more straight up.
Oh,
you see
interesting.
that muscle pulling on it.
You see that little muscle? It's all fat in the middle. It's contracting.
Yep. And then I see a big difference in those blood vessels, so the red and blue there.
Oh,
so you can see they're thicker on the left.
Yeah. What do you think that does? So which one is hot and which one is cold?
So I think the one on the left would be hot and the one on the right would be cold.
Yeah. So what do you think those skinny little blood vessels are doing where it's cold?
So this is super interesting. So when it's cold, your blood vessels are going to constrict. They're going to get smaller so that you don't have as much blood running through, right? You're going to lose a lot of your heat through your blood. And so the blood vessels near your skin are going to get smaller, so you can't lose as much heat through them. Versus when it's warm, they're going to expand, and you're going to get a ton of blood right up near the skin, so that a lot of
try
heat
to cool it off. Yeah, that's awesome.
So sweat can do more than just cool us off. It can also get rid of wastes. So if you've ever had like a ton of garlic or a ton of onions, the next day you're going to smell.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it's not just your breath, it's actually escaping through your skin. Which is super cool.
It is. Not for everybody around you, unless they also had garlic.
But it is interesting.
Keeps away the vampires.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were saying your skin helps you gather information about the environment with all those sensory receptors, billions of them on your skin, receiving temperature, stimuli, heat and cold, and pressure, pleasure and pain. So when you get a massage, it feels really nice. But if you push too hard, it doesn't feel very nice.
All right, so vitamin D. Vitamin D is a super important nutrient that we all need, right? It's going to help with things like calcium absorption, which is definitely going to help your bone health, right? And a lot of people here, get the sunlight so that you can get the vitamin D. What they don't realize is that the sunlight just helps us make vitamin D, right? So our skin is actually making the vitamin D in the presence of sunlight, which is super cool.
That is really neat.
So we mentioned before those melanocytes. Those are going to be the cells that make melanin, right? And it's basically just natural sunscreen, right? So it's going to protect your skin from UV damage.
Yeah, so the more melanin you have in your skin, the more color your skin is going to have, and the more protection you're going to have against ultraviolet radiation.
Yeah.
And you really don't need to be in the sun all that long. So, we talk about being in the sun as being maybe not a good thing because it can increase your risk of skin cancer and sunburn and all that stuff. But if you're out in the sun, even for like 10 minutes or so, that's enough for you to get enough vitamin for your body to make vitamin D. You can also get vitamin D through your diet. So eating things like milk or orange juice or salmon or eggs. And it's good for lots of different things. So regulation of your immune system helps with prevention of cancer and blood pressure and insulin, and of course your bone health. So here's an interesting thing. If you look at this map, it shows you a map of the United States, and there's the northern part is gray and the southern part is white, and there's a red line on the 37th parallel. And so it says on this slide, it says, except during the summer months, the skin makes little, if any, vitamin D from the sun at latitudes above 37 degrees in the United States. That's a shaded region. People who live in these areas are at relatively greater risk for vitamin D deficiency. Can you find where we are, where we live on that map? So find where Boston is, and we're super close to that. So we're definitely north of that 37th parallel. And that means that in the wintertime, we have a higher risk of vitamin D deficiency. So this map shows a TOM satellite that collected data about the radiation of the Earth's surface. And it shows you like the areas where there's the most radiation, most ultraviolet radiation, are in reds and pinks. Most radiation during the year. And then the cooler parts are the blues and the purples and the greens and the yellows up to the grays. This is much lower levels of ultraviolet radiation. And you can look and see where some of those places are. And that correlates directly with the production of melanin in skin color. It's kind of neat when you look at that map and you look at the map that shows the amount of melanin. So that's kind of interesting and super cool.
All right, so caring for your skin, healthy diet. This is going to come up with just about every single system that we're going to talk about. Eat right.
Eat right. Take care of yourself. You get one body in this world.
Good hygiene, so keeping your skin clean. Remember, we talked about those sebaceous glands and how they can get clogged and you end up with things like acne, right? So taking showers, washing your face, this is all going to be super, super important in keeping your skin healthy. And then sun exposure, like we talked about. If you get too much of that ultraviolet radiation, it can be very, very bad, and you can end up getting things like cancer. Right?
Yeah. So that brings us to our next slide. So that blob is skin cancer on somebody. And when it's at this stage, you can probably take care of it. But, this should have been checked. This should have been caught a lot earlier than this.
Yeah.
But, the sun can also create wrinkles in your skin, which are not a bad thing. But the woman at the bottom, obviously, she's taking care of her skin. The woman at the top maybe didn't have access to the same kinds of sun protection as the woman at the bottom. So just take care of your skin, and it'll serve you well your whole life.
And that's
it. The end. So fill in your notes, bring them in next class, and
that's all.
That's it. Have a great night, guys. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.